Chapter 3. Seeing Scarlett and Juan together rattles me so bad, I almost forget my bike parked in front of the Dairy Maid. By the time I get back, the line has died down and Cal is gone. I hop on my bike, ride past the town square, and head home. Antler is off Highway 287, tucked between the railroad tracks and the breaks of Duro Canyon. Because of the breaks, it's not as flat and sparse as most of the Panhandle. Most Panhandle towns don't have trees unless someone planted them, but Antler has plenty of elms and cedars. Our town's population has been shrinking since the bank foreclosed on some of the farms. A lot of the stores are vacant. Ferris Kelly's Bolorama, Earlene's real estate agent, and Clifton's dry goods remain. Antique shops started opening in some of the vacant stores a couple of years ago. The majority of the people who shop at the antique stores are passing through from Fort Worth or Dallas, which is weird because they look like they can afford new stuff. A cotton gin sits at the outskirts of Antler, and it isn't unusual to see a speck of cotton surfing on the wind like a lost snowflake. Our house on Ivy Street is 4 streets away from the square and 2 streets from the school. Even though Cal's family owns a cotton farm on the edge of the town, they live next door to us in a small brick house. It doesn't seem fair. Cal's family stuffed in their little place like sardines while the 3 of us live in a big 2-story. Not that our house is a mansion or anything. Mom calls it a hand-me-down. First it belonged to Mom's grandparents, then her parents, now us. It looks like the kind of place you'd see on a farm surrounded by acres of land, a white clapboard with a wraparound porch and a weather vane on the roof. When I reach home, I see Cal's bike lying flat in his yard. His brother Billy is working on Wayne's old Mustang in their driveway. He's trying to get it fixed up to surprise Wayne when he comes home in March. A flag waves from a tall pole in their front yard. Before Wayne went to Vietnam, they only hung it on the 4th of July and other patriotic holidays. Now the flag goes up every morning and comes down each night. Cal's mom, Mrs. McKnight, is pruning her roses in their front yard while she hums a song. I listen close, but I don't know the tune. Maybe it's an old Irish song. Cal says his mom's family passed them down like an old quilt. As usual, Mrs. McKnight wears a floral apron tied around her waist. She's the only one in Cal's family who isn't redheaded. Right now, her black hair blows wildly in the breeze. It makes me think how Mom puts so much hairspray on hers it defies any panhandle wind and teases it so high it could hide a frisbee. Mom claims big hair helps her hit the high notes. Mrs. McKnight waves and I wave back. Any word from your mom? Not yet. I wish everyone would stop asking me about Mom. She only left a few days ago and the contest isn't until next Thursday. After Thursday, they'll ask, how did she do? At least that fat guy replaced Mom as the juiciest news in town. At home, Mozart played from the stereo while Dad stands at the sink slicing bell peppers. He's wearing his post office uniform with his black Bic pens neatly lined up in his shirt pocket. His head is bent, and I notice his bald spot has grown to the size of an orange. Radishes, onions, and the lettuce from his backyard garden lie on the counter. Dad's fingers are long and straight. As postmaster, he sorts mail at the post office as quick as a card shark deals out a deck. But right now, cutting those peppers, his fingers look clumsy and awkward. Hungry, he asks? Yeah, I guess. I thought I'd make a salad. Dad may grow the vegetables, but he's never made a salad in his life. He looks lost in the kitchen, digging around for a salad bowl. He opens a cabinet, scratches his chin, then selects another door. I don't know where to find a bowl either. I search in the pantry. The shelves are filled with food, boxes of cereal, pasta and crackers, canned soup, stewed tomatoes, and green peas. I open the refrigerator. Milk, eggs, and American cheese slices are jammed next to packages of ham and bologna. Dad always griped at the way Mom never kept enough groceries in the house. Now she's prepared us for a national disaster. All that food reminds me of the night she packed for her trip. I sat on the edge of her bed watching her. Every pair of cowboy boots she owned lined the wall, including the turquoise ones with red stars. She flung all her Western shirts and skirts on the bed and dropped lipstick tubes from under her sink into a small suitcase. I swear, she packed like she was going for the whole summer instead of a week. About the only thing she didn't pack was the pearl necklace that once belonged to her mom. She told me that someday she'd give it to the woman I married so it would stay in the family. Mom sang "Hey Good Lookin'" as she packed, and the entire time I couldn't help wondering if moms were supposed to be that happy to get away. Mrs. McKnight doesn't go on trips without her family. Dad has already set the table with Mom's vinyl Las Vegas show scene placemats. Elvis in a white glittered suit looks up at me, microphone in hand. The table seems enormous without Mom sitting at her place. And it's quiet. Mom did all the talking at dinner. While Dad and I ate, she'd tell us something funny the judge, Miss Murdy May's senile brother, said that day at the cafe. Or how Sheriff Levi finally ordered something different from the menu, only to quickly change it back to his usual hamburger with jalapenos and french fries. I always knew Mom dreamed of being a famous singer, but I guess I thought it was only a dream. The kind of thing you wish for upon a star, but deep down you know it probably won't ever come true. After all, stars are a long ways away. Dad's salad really isn't bad if you take out the onions. They smell strong, but I eat around them. He looks like he's waiting for me to mention the salad, so I tell him, "Pretty good, Dad." "Really?" He sounds relieved, and I'm glad I said something. "Yeah, I didn't use too many onions." I look down at the sliced onions around the edge of my plate. Well, I've never been crazy about onions anyway. I'll try and remember next time. I want to say, don't sweat it, Dad. Mom will be back soon enough. No need turning into a gourmet chef. Dad might as well be from Pluto as from Dallas. People in Antlers see it as the same thing. The funny thing is, now it seems like Dad belongs here more than Mom. I don't think she ever counted on him settling in Antler when he passed through years ago, looking for a place to raise worms. Dad is the Otto Wilson, part of Otto Wilson's Tennessee brown nose fishing worms. He keeps most of the bait shops stocked from here to Lake Kaiser and Lake Seymour. He also raises enough for the local men heading out to their favorite fishing holes. I help take care of the worms, separating them by size, changing their soil, and keeping it moist. After dinner, Dad and I do the dishes while we listen to the television news. We stand side by side. I barely reach his shoulder. People say I take after Mom, blonde, brown-eyed, and small. When the war correspondent comes on, the volume gets louder. The reporter hollers into the microphone, trying to be heard over the sounds of helicopters and M16s in the background. Dad turns around and glances at the television screen. "Turn that crap off, will you?" As I walk toward the TV, I wonder if Wayne is there or some place like it. Later, I ride my bike past the town limits to Gossamer Lake. Dusk has arrived, and even though the sun is sinking below the horizon, I can see the moon. I pass the Dairy Maid where the crowd has left. Now that it's dark, the Christmas lights glow like fallen stars strung around the trailer. Paulie Rankin sits outside his Thunderbird in a lawn chair, smoking his pipe and gazing up at the sky. I guess he'll head out in the morning to the next town full of suckers with $2 to burn. What a sorry life Zachary Beaver must have, sitting every day in a cramped trailer while people come by to gawk at him. But at least he goes places. At least he doesn't watch the girl of his dreams hold hands with some other guy or have a mom who's off becoming Tammy Wynette. Except for having Cal, life in Antler is about as exciting as watching worms mate. And Cal can be such a dork. He may be the reason I'm batting a big fat 0 with Scarlett. Maybe he's ruining my image. Gossamer Lake is more like a large pond. It started out as a puny mud puddle. One spring, we had an unusual amount of rain, and a mud puddle on Henrik Gossamer's land grew to the size of a kiddie pool. Mr. Gossamer said he thought it was the Lord's way of saying he should do something for Antler's young folks. He dug the ground around the puddle as much as he could, then he called on Mr. Owens to bulldoze the rest. Pretty soon, it became a town project. The First Baptist Men's Group built a small dam to keep in the water, and the Shriners Club raised a windmill to keep the lake filled. That's how dried up Antler got its man-made lake. It's about as good as a mud puddle, though. Signs posted everywhere read, "No swimming, no fishing." They might as well post one that reads, "No fun allowed." I dodge the trees that fringe the lake, jump off my bike, and flop on the grass near the edge of the water. A light breeze blows from the southwest, bringing the stink of the Martin's cattle feedlot. I take off my sneakers and socks and roll up my jeans. Once Cal and I waded into the water, but when Cal said, "I wonder if there's any snakes in here," I jumped out and he quickly followed. Tonight I don't care if a snake pit is at the bottom of this giant puddle. Let them bite. Just as I step into the water, I hear grass rustle, and I decide maybe I'm not sold on seeing a snake after all. Across the lake, 2 figures sit close to each other. One of them moves, and I see a glimmer of blonde hair. My stomach feels sick as my eyes zero in on Scarlett and Juan.